Good evening. Please let me know when we are ready, when we are going live. Good evening, everyone. So yesterday we started with the issue of debentures or rather redemption of debentures. Let's continue the discussion. We have already discussed the journal entries. So as discussed yesterday, the simple formula, which is 3, 4, 5, right? Three entries at the point of issue, four entries at the point of routine entries, and five entries for redemption. So, as we have already discussed, certain companies who have issued debentures have to compulsorily create the debenture redemption reserve for 10% of the amount of the debentures outstanding. And they have certain companies also have to do investment relating to those, debentures up to 15%. Those two conditions, as per company, that needs to be followed by every company who has issued debentures. So today we will learn with a practical example. We will solve a question. So let's take this question down. We'll do the problems, but before that, we will do one question because in the ICA material we do not have uh, journal entry questions. We directly have ledger questions. For understanding those ledger problems, we need to know the journal properly first. So let's do a problem based on journal. We'll learn the journal entries, and then the same thing posting we'll have to do in the ledger problems as well. So first, I'll dictate one question or I'll put one question on your screens. So take that question down, and then we will do the question from the ICI material. So ABC Limited, an unlisted company. I hope the screen is visible. Other than a banking company, NBFC, and HFC. We saw that for these entities, there's an exemption for creating reserve and for making the investment, NBFC banking companies and all, and listed companies, of course, because SEBI guidelines guide the listed companies and NBFC, HFC banking companies, all India financial institutions. If I have the RBI rules and regulations to be followed. Therefore, this Companies Act is not putting any rules on them. So their problems don't come for this. For us, only this unlisted companies who are not those specified companies, such questions will be asked for us. Issue 10,000, 10% debentures at rupees 100 each on 1st April 2023. Or rather, we'll make this 22. 1st April 22. Interest is payable. So on the debentures, you'll have to pay interest. So interest is payable. What is the interest rate? It's 10%. Debentures means 10% is the interest rate. Debentures are interest is payable on 30th September and 31st March. So semi-annually, they are paying the interest on these debentures. Debentures are redeemable on 31st March on 31st March 2023. Investments fetch 8% interest per annum, receivable annually on 31st March. So this is on the investments. So we have to do some investments, right? At 15% of the total outstanding debentures will have to be invested in specified securities. So on that, we are receiving 8% interest is what they're saying. Pass the journal entries. Simple questions, 12 journal entries we will have to go through if required. Sometimes all 12 journal entries will not be required. So we'll see what is always required. We'll draw the journal entry format. We need the date column. Journal entries in the books of ABC Limited. Okay, first let's record the issue of the debentures. We are issuing 10,000 debentures of 100 each on 1st April 22. So 1/4/22 bank account. I'm receiving money. The issue is a part. They have not mentioned about any premium. So 100 into 10,000. 10 lakhs. Mhm. 10,000 debentures issued at par. Next, immediately, this won't be given in the question. You should be knowing that we have to, it's an unlisted company, which is not a specified company. Specified companies are all those NBFCs, banking companies, and all. So these companies will have to do now reserves. They'll have to create a reserve of 10%. So the entry to create reserve is P&L account debit to debenture redemption reserve. So 10% of 10 lakhs, 1 lakh. Being TRR created as per the provisions of the Companies Act. So this is one thing. Next, this is not enough. We'll also have to do an investment, right? For that, another entry. How much is the investment for? The investment will be done for 15% of the debentures amount. The reserve is for 10% and the investment is for 15%. So DRR investment account debit, debenture redemption reserve investments account debit to bank account. To bank account, it is 10 lakhs into 15%, 1,50,000. Being investments made in specified securities as per Companies Act. As per Companies Act. Done. So three entries for issue. At the time of issue, I told you we have to pass three entries. That is done. After this, next, the routine entries during the year, whatever the entries are the regular entries that have to pass during the year, only interest related entries and closing that interest and transferring it to profit and loss account. That's all you have to do. So there are two types of interest. One second. So interest on debentures we will have to pay, plus we will have to receive interest on the investments that we just did, right? So the look at the conditions over here. Interest is payable on 30th September and 31st March. So whatever interest, how much interest we will have to pay, 10% interest on debentures we will have to pay. So that will be paid semi-annually, half yearly. So once in 6 months on 30th September and 31st of March, we will pay the interest. So 10 lakhs is the value of debentures, right? 10 lakhs into 10% into 6 by 12. So we will pay 50,000 each. Two times we will pay. Then investments interest also is there, 8% per annum. So this is received only once. So they have not given semi-annually and all, receivable annually. They have given over here on 31st of March. So at the end of the year, just one entry for interest received. Interest paid, two entries. So 30th September 2022. So this is interest, debenture interest account debit. So the calculation will be 10 lakhs into 10% into 6 by 12, 50,000 to bank account, 50,000 being debenture interest paid at 10% for 6 months, 10% per annum for 6 months. Done. Debenture interest entry. One entry is done. We have to close this account, but this is closed at the end of the year, right? Profit and loss account is prepared at the end of the year. That is when it is transferred to the profit and loss account. But before that, I will have to give interest again. I'll also have to receive interest. So let me pay the interest first. So debenture interest account debit. The same 50,000 again, 10 lakhs into 10% into 6 by 12, 6 months of the interest. 50,000 to bank account, 50,000 being debenture interest paid at 10% per annum for 6 months. Same narration. Done. Interest payment done. 2 times we have to pay the interest. I have paid it twice. Next, receive the interest. Now remember, interest receipt will not happen on all of 10 lakhs. Interest receipt will happen only on the investments made. So investments made is how much DRR investment I have made. I made DRR investment of only 1,50,000. So on this, I will receive interest. So to see the interest rate, I think it's 8%, right? For the whole year, I'm going to receive interest on this. Because I invested on 1/4, even the debenture issue was on 1/4. So for the full year, I will receive the interest at 8%. Bank account debit to interest on DRR investments. Account. So 1,50,000 I have invested. Correct? No. Into 8%. Interest rate is 8%, even in the question. Okay, so 1,50,000 into 8%. How much do you get? 12,000 rupees. being interest on investments received. This is 31,323, not 22,23. Done. This is the interest asset. So interest paid and interest receipt entries have been passed. Now at the end of the year, we are at the end of the year, we will have to pass the closure entries also. We'll have to close those accounts by transferring it to profit and loss. So first the expense account, we will debit it to the profit and loss. 31,323. 31,323. Profit and loss account debit to debenture interest account. What is the total debenture interest? Not just for 6 months, but the total it up. Total expense of the year is 1 lakh. So that will be transferred to the profit and loss account. Being debenture interest account transferred to profit and loss. Similarly, I'll also have to close the interest on DRR investments. We will have to credit the profit and loss account. That is our income, right? So interest on DRR investments account debit to profit and loss account. 12,000 rupees. Being interest income transferred to P&L. I hope this is clear. Very simple entries. So we are done with the routine entries. That's it. We passed totally 5 entries this time because interest was paid semi-annually, right? So we had to pass 2 payment entries. So that's it. Next, we will have to go for redemption. When is the redemption of debentures happening? On 31/3/23 itself. So on that date itself, the debentures is happening. No more routine entries. If it was 1 more year was there in between and all, so I will have to pass again interest payment and all. But here the debentures are getting redeemed in just 1 year. After 1 year itself, the redemption is happening. So let's pass the entry for redemption. So for redemption, what and all entries will be there? For redemption, we will have one entry will be the due entry for redemption. Next will be for the reserve closure. We don't need the reserve anymore. Next, we'll have to sell off the investments. We don't need those investments anymore because we need money now. So we'll have to sell off those investments. And then last one will be for last but one will be payment of the debenture holders ಇಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡೋದು. And last one is to write off the premium. So totally 5 entries will be there. If premium is there, then the fifth one will be there. Otherwise, 4 entries will be there. So what are the entries that we will pass? First one, due entry. That is that announcement entry. We are announcing the redemptions for that one entry, similar to the redemption of preferences, what we were doing there, the same entry. Next is reserve closure. Next is the investment sale, and next is to pay the debenture holders, and last one is to close the premium account. If the premium account is there, to close it. So 31/3/23. First, I will have to pass the due entry for redemption. 10% debentures account debit 10 lakhs. Do we have any premium on redemption? Am I doing it at a premium? No, no. Debentures are redeemable on 31st March. No premium and all. So it's at par, 10 lakhs. So no premium on redemption account will come over here. Transfer this to debenture holders account, 10 lakhs. Announced at par. Next one, close the reserve. I don't need the reserve anymore. We had reserved some money for this redemption, right? We will not need it anymore because the redemption is happening now. So close the redemption. How to close the redemption? By reversing the reserve entry, by transferring it back to the profit and loss. So debenture redemption reserve account debit to profit and loss account. How much reserve I had created earlier? I had created a reserve of 1 lakh. Being DRR credited to P&L because of redemption, basically. Next, I don't need the investments also. So the DRR investments will be sold. Bank account debit to DRR investments account. How much DRR investments do we have? How much money we had invested? 1,50,000. So let's close that too. They're selling it at par. They have not given us at what price it was sold and all. So I'm just selling it at par, whatever price I had invested at that. I've of course got the interest on these investments, right? 8% gain architect being investments sold at par. Sold at par. Next. So out of the five possible entries, we already passed three entries. Next one is to make the payment, right? At redemption, I told you five maximum entries are possible. So three entries are done. Now the fourth one is to make the payment. So debenture holders account debit to bank account. It is redeemed at par, so we will need just the 10 lakh rupees for redemption. Being payment due to debenture holders made. Last entry would be to write off the premium on redemption if it is there. Do we have any premium on redemption? No, sir. You just said it is at par, so therefore there's no premium on redemption. That's all. This is all the entries that we have to pass. Lots of entries, but simple. I have given you the formula 345. Three entries for issue, four routine entries, five for redemption, right? Three entries for issue, four entries for routine entries, everyday regular entries, right? The interest payment, interest receipt, closure of interest account, and finally redemption, five entries we will have. That's it. That's a simple question that we did. Now let's do from the ICA textbook, ICA questions. In this, we have a lot of ledger related questions, ledger questions, okay? The following balances appeared in the books of a company unlisted other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC, and HFC. So, other than the specified companies, all of the companies follow the reserve rules, the investment rules. As on December 31, 21, 6% mortgage. So, they have already issued the debentures. There's already balance in the debenture account and all. So they have said on 31st December, this is what it is. So we don't have to issue the debentures, okay? 6% mortgage, 10,000 debentures of 100 each, debenture redemption reserve. See, at the time of issuing the debentures, what we do, we pass the issue entry, then reserve is to be created, and investment is to be made. So now they have already passed the issue entry. Let's see if the reserve is created. If it is not sufficient, we will have to create the reserve, okay? If investment is made. If investment is not made, then I will have to make the investment 15%. So remember those two rules. DRR at 10% and DRR investment at 15% needs to be done. If it's done, well and good. You don't have to do anything extra. But if it's not done, then you will have to do. So read the question and figure it out. So there are 6% mortgage debentures, 10,000 of 100 each. So how much would that be? 10,000 into 100. Same like our question, earlier question. 10 lakhs that will be. Debenture redemption reserve is for redemption of debentures 50,000. Is it sufficient? No. 10 lakh iddu ಎಷ್ಟು percent reserve ಮಾಡಬೇಕು or actually 10% reserve ಮಾಡಬೇಕು 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು but they have done a reserve of only 50,000. So this is not sufficient. I'll have to create an additional reserve. How much additional reserve I will have to create? I will have to create an additional reserve of 50,000 rupees. Out of 1 lakh required reserve, 50,000 is already created. So other 50,000 we will have to create. Then investments in deposits to the scheduled bank free from any charge, 1,50,000 at interest of 4%. So this should be at 15%. So 10 lakhs into 15% is 1,50,000. So DRR investments they have made. You don't have to make any further investments. So that investment is getting 4% interest is what they have said. Bank balance with the company is 9 lakhs. The interest on debentures had been paid up to 31st December 21. So interest on debentures have been paid up to 31 December 21. On February 28, 22, the investments were realized at par and the debentures were paid off at 101 together with interest. Write up the concerned ledger accounts excluding the bank transactions. Although they have said excluding, but we will do the bank transactions also because the answer in the textbook itself has bank account and all prepared. So we will also do it. Shall we start? Let's understand what are the ledger accounts we will have to prepare first before we dive into the question. Yaudilla ledger ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ discuss ಮಾಡುವ first, okay? That we will have to just go through the entries itself, journal entries roughly in your mind quickly we will have to do to understand the different ledgers required. So first is to the issue of debentures. Debenture issue ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾನು debenture account ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, so debenture account will be there. DRR will be created, so DRR will be needed. Then we will need profit and loss account. Balance and all is not given, so I'm not going to do profit and loss account as such because reserve is created from the profit and loss, but not given how much balance and all is there. You can create an extract, okay, but not necessary. DRR investments is there. So DRR investments will be needed. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಉಂಟು, DRR ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬೇಕು, DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕು, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So this much we will have to do. In addition to this, see this, interest on debentures had been paid up to 31st December 21. Last year the interest ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. But when am I redeeming the debenture next year? 28, 22 ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. February 28, 22 ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿದ್ದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು, 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿದ್ದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು and debentures ಮೇಲೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡೋದು. So interest paid, interest received accounts also will be required. Interest income basically. When I say interest received account, I'm referring to interest income account. Just for 2 months, I will have to calculate how much is the interest that I will have to write in that account. Debenture interest account. Then redemption. At the point of redemption, I'll need debenture holders account, right? So that debenture holders account also will be made. Redemption ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾನು debenture holders ಅನ್ನು credit ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, payment ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು. Is there premium on redemption? Am I redeeming at what price debentures were paid off at? 101. So 1 rupee premium is there. So we will create the premium on redemption also. Done. This is it. 8 accounts we will have to draw. You can draw the ledger format for the whole page. Full page ಗೆ ledger format ಹಾಕಿ ಈಸಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. Yes. 8 ledger accounts. And that bank account will be slightly longer, not very long. Other all accounts can be 4 or 5 lines. That's all. We will need 8 ledger accounts. So let me copy this 8 times, 7 more times. Oh, I think I did it 2 times extra, but anyway, it's okay. So we'll need one bank, sorry, debentures account. What debentures are these? These are 6% mortgage, 10,000 debentures. So 6% mortgage debentures. So asset has been mortgaged against these debentures. That's why we call them as mortgage debentures. Security against the asset at the top. Next, we will need the debenture redemption reserve. Next, DRR investment. Account. And of course, the bank account. All other accounts will come in later on. As we pass the entries, we will discuss and we'll write the titles. Okay. First now, 6% mortgage. What is the balance in this account? Total, how many debentures were issued and what is the date I have to write? They have said as on 31st December 21, so 1/1/22 we get on but the next year itu. It's a liability, so credit balance literally on the credit side by balance brought down. So total 10,000 debentures of 100 each. So 10 lakhs. Opening balance ಬರ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದೇ ಡೇಟಿಗೆ 1/1/21 ಬೈ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಎಷ್ಟುಂಟು 50,000 ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಉಂಟು ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ 1 lakh ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡು we'll have to create another 50,000 reserve. Then DRR investment account. In this account, I will asset itu. This is an asset for his investments. So it will have debit balance 1/1/21, two balance brought down. How much is the investments? 1,50,000. You can write in the brackets. Interest rate is 4%. So 4% DRR investment account. 1,50,000. Unnecessary, but you can write if you want. You don't have to look at the question again and again in that case. Bank account balance also you write. This is also an asset. So this will have debit balance 1/1/21. Two balance brought down 9 lakhs. Okay. Now before I go to do the redemption ಮಾಡುವ ಮುಂಚೆ DRR ಸಾಕಾ DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಾಕಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೇನೆ ಎರಡು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು DRR ಇದ್ರದ್ದು 10% ಇರಬೇಕು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ಸೊ 10% ಇಲ್ಲ 10% is 1 lakh it is only 50,000 so immediately ನಾನು additional DRR ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ the entry is profit and loss account debit to DRR account, right? This is how you create debentures, debenture redemption reserve. Reserve ಹಾಗೆ create ಮಾಡೋದು by debiting the P&L and crediting the DRR account. So 50,000 into DRR ನಾನು create ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. I hope you have understood how I got this 50,000. So this much is required, ಇಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು, but this much is only there right now. Existing. So ಉಳಿದದ್ದು ನಾನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್. Are we done? Next, investment Saka used to investment Saka 15% of 10 lakhs, 1 lakh 50,000. This is fine. We're good to go with the redemption now. So remember, I did not do the P&L account, profit and loss account, and create ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ P&L ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. So therefore, you can prepare the extract. Extract ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ, but we are not doing it. Unless they give the opening balance, I don't see it creating the P&L account. It's not necessary. Okay, if the question said do the P&L account, then I would have to do. But here they said necessary ledger accounts. Okay, now redemption is ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು 28th ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿಗೆ redeem ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ at 101. But before that, ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರ ಮುಂಚೆ ಈಗ 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಆಗಿದೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ 31 ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಸೀವೇಬಲ್ ಆನ್ 31st December and interest is payable on 31st December. ಸೊ ಅದೆರಡು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಈ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿದ್ದು ಉಂಟಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪೇ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. So debenture interest account ಮಾಡುವ ledger format is already ready. Debenture interest account. So we have to pay debenture interest on 10 lakhs at 6%. Debentures are for 6%, right? 6%, 10 lakhs mele, I will have to pay interest for 2 months. So 10 lakhs into 6% into 2 by 12. 10,000 rupees debenture interest account debit to bank account. Debenture interest account is being debited to bank account 10,000. Calculation 10 lakhs into 6% into 2 by 12. This is on 28 to 21. I have the bank account, so let me do the posting even in the bank account. Bank account is credited because it is outflow by debenture interest. 28 to 2021, 22. This is 10,000. Done. Debenture interest entry done. Both debit credit we have passed. Similarly, interest on debenture redemption reserve investments. So interest on DRR investments. ಈ ವರ್ಷದ್ದು 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿದ್ದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು? DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ 1,50,000. ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೇಟ್ 4% ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ 1,50,000 into 4%, 6,000 into 2 by 12. 1,000 rupees. This is an income. So the journal entry will go like bank account debit to interest on DRR investment account. Correct? No. So by bank account. So this is 1,50,000 into 4% into 2 by 12. I hope everyone is understanding why am I doing it for only 2 months? Because 2 months redemption doesn't come from the date of beginning, 1st January in the 28 or 2 in the ಅಲ್ಲಿ 31st December ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ವರ್ಷದ್ದು 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿದ್ದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುದು, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡುದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ. $1,000. Now we can go ahead. The date is 28 to 22, right? Okay. Now we can go for redemption of debentures. So redemption of debentures ಅದರ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು these accounts. We can close it. How do we close it? By transferring it to profit and loss account. Interest account. We don't know the dates. Year ಎಂಡಿಗೆ ಮಾಡುದು generally, but I'm closing it on the same date. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ. You can write 31/3/21/22 also, or you can write 12/31/12/22 also. So year end date is not given. Just transferring into profit and loss. We pass the entry, routine entries and we end get transferred ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅದೇ. So ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ. I don't have the P&L, so P&L account ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. Just ಒಂದು posting ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಈಗ. Done. Debenture interest close ಆಯ್ತು interest on debenture. ಈಗ let's go to the redemption. ಅದೇ ದಿನ redemption ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ debentures ಅನ್ನು. So for that the journal entry. 6% mortgage debentures account debit. Premium on redemption. 1 rupee premium is there. So 1 rupee premium on redemption account debit to debenture holders account. So this is the entry 6% mortgage debentures account debit 10 lakhs premium on redemption account debit. This is 1 rupee into 10,000 debentures, right? 1 rupee premium we are giving. 101 rupees ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ದೇವರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಕೆ ಕೊಡುವಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ 1 rupee extra ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ ಹಾಗೆ. 10,000 to debenture holders. 10 lakh 10,000. So ಈಗ ಈ journal entry ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು post ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So this will be debited here to debenture holders account. ಈ account ಅಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಉಂಟು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Our liability will be off the books. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. So therefore there is no liability anymore. Account ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಆನ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ a loss for the company. We're paying extra. So to debenture holders. ಅದೇ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ನಾನು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. I hope everyone is understanding this. 10,000. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾನು debenture holders account ಗೆ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, right? The liabilities towards the debenture holders, so we will have to credit the debenture holders account. By 6% mortgage debentures account 10 lakhs by premium on redemption 10,000. Okay. Next, what is the next thing we do? This is the first entry we do in redemption, right? First entry is to pass the due entry for redemption. So the due entry is done. Next, we close the reserve account. The reserve is no more required. So reserve account करने का P&L लिखे आपके बेटे दो. So two P&L account, DRR account debit to P&L account. How much is the total reserve we have? Opening balance 50,000 ittu, but then I created another 50,000 reserve, right? So total I have 1 lakh reserve, which will be transferred to the P&L. So see the journal entry they flow ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದಾವೆ now. It's not difficult if you just look at the solution. Solution ಹೀಗೆ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ difficult ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ. But if you understand the flow of the journal entries, ಎಲ್ಲ flow ಗೊತ್ತುಂಟು ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, it's not difficult, right? You should know the flow of the journal entries. Same flow ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. That's why I did a journal entry question also so that you get some understanding. 21 or 22 or 22. This is also 22. Correct, no? 22. So ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ reserve close ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Okay. Next ಎಂತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Next investments ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So investments again at par itself. So by bank account. ಇದು P&L account ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. So I don't have anything to credit. This debit aspect ಮಾತ್ರ entry ನಾನು post ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Next I have to sell off the investments. The entry to sell off the investments is bank account debit to DRR investment account. So DRR investment will be credited 1,50,000. 1122, right? Why did I write 1121 81? Okay, 1122. This is 28 to 22 now. By bank account, 1,50,000. Done. This account will also be closed. You can post this to bank account to DRR investments account. One lakh 50,000. Correct. Bank account is not a big close. Done. This is all from the DRR investments point of view. Next stuff. DRR close ಆಯ್ತು, DRR investment close ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು ನೋಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಟೆನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ 10,000. 101 rupees ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ 10,000 ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. 10,00,000 10,000. ಸೊ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. Basically, the balancing figure in the account is also the total in this account. payment. So we will credit over here by debenture holders. Next, we have to write off the premium, right? Premium into equation only. So premium and the P&L ಗೆ transfer ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡುದು by profit and loss account 10,000. See if any ledger is pending to be closed. ಆಯ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ journal entries ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು post ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ just ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡಿ if there is any ledger which is pending to be closed. Bank account is left, no close ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. So let's close the bank account as well. Balancing figure ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ. So the total on the debit side is 9 lakh less 1,000 less 1,50,000. The balancing figure is 31,000. Sorry. 31,000 is the balancing figure. Are we clear with this? That's it. This much we have to do. ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ. Simple question, but lots of accounts, lots of entries to be done. Okay, now let's read the second illustration as well. Similar question. Let's do it quickly. The following balances appeared in the books of Paradise Limited, unlisted company other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC, and HFC as on 1/4/21. So 12% debentures, 7,50,000. Balance of DRR, 25,000. DRR investment, 1,12,500 represented by 10%, 1,125 secured bonds of the government of India, 100 each. Okay. Yapaka calculation ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡುವ if DRR is enough, DRR investment is enough. DRR ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ 10%. DRR investment ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ 15%. So 7,50,000 into 10%, 75,000. DRR is not enough. 25,000 ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So 50,000 ನಾನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು DRR. DRR investment, this is 15% ಬೇಕು. 1,12,500 ಬೇಕು. So DRR investment 1,12,500 represented by 10% 1,000. So the DRR investment is fine. It is there. 10% interest ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. Annual contribution to DRR was made on 31st March every year. On 31/3/22, balance at bank was 7,50,000 before receipt of interest. So before receipt of interest, and the interest payment ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, they have not mentioned about payment. So payment already ಆಗಿದೆ, but receive ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ interest. Payment ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡುದು? Debentures ಮೇಲೆ. So ಅದು payment entry ಆಗಿದೆ. ರಿಸೀವ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡುದು? ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ರಿಸೀಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ರಿಸೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ರಿಸೀವ್ ದಟ್ ಮನಿ. The investment will realize at par for redemption of premium, for redemption of debentures at a premium of 10% on about it. So investments ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು at par ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, face value ಬಂದಿದೆ, and the debentures are redeemed. The redemption of debentures at a premium of 10%. So redemption ನಾನು 31st March ಗೆ 10% premium ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. You are required to prepare the following accounts for the year ended 31st March 22. Debentures account, right? We know how to do that. Credit balance, opening balance ಇರ್ತದೆ. DRR account, credit opening balance ಇರ್ತದೆ. DRR investment asset ಇದು. Bank account, opening balance is given 7,50,000. Debenture holders account, last ticket, payment ticket, ಮಾಡುದು. Very simple. Let's do all the just five legends they have asked. Now, interest on debenture DRR investment account ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಉಂಟು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಆನ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಉಂಟು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬೇಡ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಲೆಜರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಲೆಜರ್ ಅವ್ರು ಖಾಲಿ 5 ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ 5 ಲೆಜರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವ. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಟೆಲ್ us to do the ledgers. ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಲೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಕೂಡ 5 ಲೆಜರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇವನ್ ಈಸಿ. So draw the format again for the whole page you can draw. 2 now. Yes. What debentures are these? 12% debentures. Then what else do they need? Out KLH account, the titles for the Bitcoin Nano, DRR account, DRR investment, bank account, debenture holder account. 7,50,000. What's the date? 1/4/21 ಗೆ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬರೆಯುವುದು ನಾನು. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ 31/3/22 ಗೆ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಉಳಿದ ಈ ಮೂರು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದು 1/4/21 ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. DRR account ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, DRR ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ brought down 1,12,500 ಅಲ್ಲ. 1/4/21. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು 31/3/22 ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು 7,50,000. ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. Okay. Now, let's understand what has happened to the DRR. Let's see if the DRR is enough and the DRR investment is enough. We already saw that DRR is not enough. So let me create the DRR immediately on the same date. 1421 again unmarked by P&L. ಎಷ್ಟು DRR ಇರಬೇಕು actually DRR closing balance must be 10% of the debentures. 7,50,000 into 10% ಇರಬೇಕು, but right now it's only 25,000. So 50,000 into ನಾನು DRR ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. This much is required, but no need to create all 75,000 now because there's already an existing balance in the account at 25,000. DRR investment is sufficient, right? 15% ಇರಬೇಕು. 7,50,000 into 15%. Exact ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಉಂಟು. So we don't have to do anything about DRR investments. Okay, now we can directly go ahead for the redemption. Annual contribution to DRR was made on 31st March, but ಸಾಕಾಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ last year ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಈಗ. On 31/3/22, balance at bank was 7,50,000 before receipt of interest. Right, we will receive interest then. Interest receive ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. For that, bank account debit to interest on DRR investments, but we are not doing interest on DRR investment account because it's not required. As per the question, I'm not given, but bank account and credit ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, or rather debit ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Receipt of interest, I'm not sorry. The bank account debit to interest on investments. Interest on DRR investments. 1,12,500 into 10% for the full year. 11,250. Full version. Annual interest. Receive ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ full version. So not receive ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. Okay. ಈಗ redemption ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಾ? The investments were realized in part for redemption of debentures at premium of 10% on the above date. Okay, let's go to redemption. Redemption point ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 entries ಇರ್ತದೆ. 5 entries ಗೂ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. First one, to announce the redemption of debentures. 12% debenture account debit to debenture holders. Premium on redemption account also will be debited, but they have not asked us to do the premium account, so I have not done the premium account. But let me post it in the debenture holders. Okay. Now let's go on to close the DRR account. The DRR account is no more required. Let's go to the DRR account and let's close it. My voice is not audible, is it? Please let me know if my voice is not audible. Is it fine now, or is it still not audible? DRR account will be closed now. So to close the DRR account, I will have to debit it and transfer it to profit and loss account. So how much balance do we have in DRR account? Although the opening balance was only 25,000, but we have created another 50,000 DRR, so total 75,000. Is my voice fine? Please let me know in the chat box. Audible. Okay. So you'll get DRR account gets closed. Okay. Similarly, DRR investment account also is not required anymore. So we will have to sell off the DRR investment. P&L account ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, so credit posting ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ DRR ಇದ್ದು. But ಇದು DRR investment by bank account ಮಾರುದು. So the entry bank account debit to DRR investment account. We're selling off these investments at par. So par value is written. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಗೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಟು DRR investment. Thirty-one 322. Okay, so investments first ಗೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಯ್ತು, DRR ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ಆಯ್ತು, DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್. ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಪ್ಪ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಟೋಟಲ್ 8,25,000. ಸೊ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ 8,25,000. 10% ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಉಂಟಲ್ಲ, 8,25,000. 7,50,000 plus 75,000. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಈ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಬೈ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ನಾವು? ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ನಾವು ಎರಡು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. P&L ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಂತರ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಡಿ ನಾಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಲೆಜರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಲೆಜರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಸೊ ಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಗೂ. ಸೊ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಲೆಜರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓಪನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಂಟು ನೋಡಿ. Eight 73 750 is the total. 873, 750, right? The balance is 8,25,000 minus 500, 48,000. Yes. Very like can't close our gates. So, done. So it's not difficult. No, what is difficult about it? Only thing is lots of ledgers to be done. But when ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆ process entries ಇದೊಂದು flow ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ then it's very easy. ಅಪರೂಪ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುದು entries ಅನ್ನು. It's not very hard according to me, right? So just understanding the concept, understanding what all is to be done, you have to give it attention to it, and then it's just posting all of these entries. Entries ಎಲ್ಲ ರಪ್ಪ post ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುದು in the ledger account. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll take a small breather, a break, small break, and after the break, I will continue. I'll give you a 15-minute break, 6:52. So I will start at say 7:05. 7:05. We will restart the class, same session. We will continue in the same session. Okay. We'll be done with redemption of debentures today. Small portions left, so we'll finish it easily before the end of today's class. So before that, we'll take one small break, and I'll see you at the end of it. So 15 minutes break. Come back after that. Right, let's begin. So, we were discussing about redemption of debentures. There's one small concept in redemption, converting the debentures into equity shares. So, see, as per the rule, I mean, I have told you plenty of times that in India, we have to redeem the debentures, right? The loan in the preference is 20 years old, but debentures is a condition as such. Preference shares the ಹಾಗೆ, but we have to redeem the debentures. It's a liability for the company. So sometimes what the company may do is company may issue debentures with an option to convert them to equity share. ಅಂದ್ರೆ basically, ಈಗ let's say for example, I have to pay 10 lakh rupees debentures outstanding unto. This is redeemable at 10% premium. Pay proper attention. I'm discussing an example. So understand this. Can be confusing when you're reading on your own. So that is why pay proper attention. 10,000 units onto debentures of rupees 100 each. Total 10 lakhs ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ amount. And 10% premium ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು redeem ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ, repay ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ. Now, what the company may do is company may give an option to them. Instead of me giving full cash, ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ cash ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ total 10 lakh 10,000 ನಾನು cash ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. Sorry, 10 lakh and plus 10%. 11 lakhs. Total 11 lakhs ನಾನು cash ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು redemption time ಅಲ್ಲಿ. 11 ಲಕ್ಷ ನಾನು cash ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ what we will do is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ವರ್ತ್ ಇದ್ದು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಕಂಪನಿದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಯು an option to convert 20%. 20%. This is an option. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇಡ. Option to convert 20% of the debentures into equity shares. Okay, so ಈಗ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. All of these 10,000 debenture holders agree. They say, okay, we agree that you convert the debentures into equity shares. ಎಷ್ಟು 10 ಲಕ್ಷದ ಕೂಡ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು? ಇಲ್ಲ. 10,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟು, 10,000 ಕೂಡ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 10,000 ಅಲ್ಲ, 20% ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುದು. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ am I going to convert? 2,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ I am going to convert into equity shares. ಹೇಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ 2,000 ಇದ್ದೀಗ ನಾನು ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ 2,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ? 100 rupees is the face value plus 10% premium. So 110 is the redemption value. So 110 rupees into 2,000 debentures. 2,22,000 rupees ಇದ್ದು ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ತ್ ಇದ್ದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಉಳಿದದ್ದು 8,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಉಳಿತದೆ. 10,000 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 20% ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಉಳಿದದ್ದು 80% ನಾನು 8,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಉಳಿತದೆ. ಸೊ 8,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. So this is conversion to equity shares. This is cash. So 110 into 8,000. 8,80,000. ಇಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. So 8,80,000 plus 2,20,000. So total ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? 11 lakhs. 11 lakhs ನಾನು ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಹಣ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ 11 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಫುಲ್ 11 lakhs in cash to these debenture holders. Rather, I had given an option to them, right? If you want, we can convert this into equity shares. So we are using that option. All of them have agreed to use that option. Sometimes all of them don't agree. Only few of them agree out of this. But in our example, I've told you, all of them agree to convert that 20% into equity shares. ಸೊ ನಾನೀಗ 2,20,000 ವರ್ತ್ ಇದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್, ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ? ಅದು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಇದು. ಒಂದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಈಗ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಂದು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ 15 rupees. 15 rupees ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಉಂಟು ಒಂದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಇದ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2,20,000 ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ನೋಡುದು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ವರ್ತ್ ಇದ್ದು ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ 2,20,000 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 15 ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ 14,666 or 667 equity shares ನಾನು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ debentures into equity shares. Directly, I will do a couple of questions so that you get a clarity on this. Very simple concept. Pay attention when I discuss it. XYZ Limited has issued 1,012% convertible debentures of rupees 100 each, redeemable after a period of 5 years. According to the terms and conditions of the issue, these debentures were redeemable at a premium of 5%. It's a 100 rupee debenture, so 105 ಗೆ ನಾನು redeem ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. The debenture holders also had the option at the time of redemption to convert 20% of their holdings into equity shares of 10 each at a price of 20 per share and the balance in cash. Debenture holders amounting to 20,000 opted to get the debentures converted into equity shares as per the terms of the issue. You are required to calculate the number of shares issued and cash paid for redemption of 20,000 debentures holders. Okay. Let's go through this question again. Once again, let's understand what the facts of the question are. One second. I'm sorry. Okay, now the voice is audible, right? Okay. So as I was telling you earlier, I hope you understood the facts of the case here. 1,000 debentures into really now it is audible, right? I'm audible, no? Okay. 1,000 debentures issue ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು ಆ 1,000 debentures ಗೆ ನಾನು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. I had given an option to them saying that you can convert 20% of your holding into equity shares. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ 1,000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಖಾಲಿ 20,000 rupees ಇದ್ದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ 20,000 rupees ಇದ್ದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 20,000 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 100 rupees. ಒಂದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ 100 rupees ಇದಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 20,000 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 100. 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ. 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಡ್ ಟು ದೀಸ್ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಪೇಡ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಉಂಟು ಅದು 20% ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು, ಉಳಿದ 80% ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಈಗ 200 ಇದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಾಟ್ ಆನ್ 1,000. 1,000 ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 20% ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಖಾಲಿ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್? ಎಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ನಾನು ಎಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ? ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? Yes. So calculation of number of shares issued. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡುವ, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಕಾಲಮ್. Number of debentures opting for conversion. So 20,000 into debentures divided by 100 rupees, right? One debenture 100 rupees into total 20,000 worth debentures have agreed for conversion. So 200 debentures. ಈಗ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ, ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು, ನಾನು ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ತ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟು ಅವರಿಗೆ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಈಗ 100 rupees is the face value. Redemption redeemable at a premium of 5%. So 105 ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, 100 plus 5. So redemption value is rupees 105 into 200. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ? 21,000 rupees. ಇಷ್ಟು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ದವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಇದರ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗ ಇವ್ರು ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ 21,000 ಇದು 20% ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, 80% ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುವುದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, 21,000 ಇದ್ದು 20% ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಟೋಟಲ್ 21,000 rupees ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಈ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಆ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾನು 21,000 rupees ಇದು ವರ್ತ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು 20% ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು, 80% ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ? Proportion of conversion is into equity shares 20%. Therefore, redemption value converted to equity shares 21,000 into 20%. ಇಷ್ಟು 4,200 ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟದ್ದು ನಾನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವರಿಗೆ, rupees 4,200 ಇದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಇವರಿಗೆ 4,200. What is the value of one equity share? Value per equity share. What is the value per equity share? Sir, ಇಂತ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾ? Of rupees 10 each at a price of 20 per share. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ನಾವು ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್. ಸೊ 20 rupees ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ದ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. Therefore, total 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಒಂದು ಶೇರ್ ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ 4200 rupees ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು shares issue ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Number of shares to be issued is equal to 4200 divided by 20. 210 equity shares issue ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. I hope you have understood. Very simple calculations. First, you have to calculate how many how many debentures have agreed for conversion. Then you have to calculate the redemption value of such debentures. ಅದರದ್ದು ನಾವು redemption value calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದರ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಎಷ್ಟು equity shares issue ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, take the market value and divide. You get the number of equity shares to be issued. They have also asked the amount paid in cash. Cash paid ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ? Cash paid to debenture holders. ಉಳಿದದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 21,000 rupees ಇದ್ದು 20% ನಾನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 80% ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. 16,800. 21,000 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4,200 equity shares ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಉಳಿದದ್ದು 80% ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. So you can minus 21,000 minus 4,800, 4,200. 16,800 will be paid in cash to them. ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಉಳಿದದ್ದು ಶೇರ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ 1000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 200 ಅವರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಆದದ್ದು. ಉಳಿದ 800 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಎಂತ ಮಾಡುದು ಸರ್? ಉಳಿದ 800 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. 105 rupees ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಎಸ್, ಇದು ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ 105. ಸೊ 80 into 800 into 105, 84,000 ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಂತ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಉಳಿದ 800 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ 1000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದ್ರ 200 ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು ಅವರು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಐಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ 1000 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 200 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಉಳಿದದ 800 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ನಾವ್ ಎಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡುದು. ಉಳಿದ 800 ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. 105 rupees ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. 800 into 105. Have you understood this? Is this clear? Very simple question. I hope you have got this. One more question, similar question, practical question 1. Can you try this question? You try both of you have to tell me now. You have to try it now and tell me now on the chat box. You have to tell me the answer. Let's see if we can try. Do the table, draw the table and do this. I'll give you 5 minutes time to do it. Practical question 1. Do it yourself. Read the question. The company had issued 20,000. I will read the question for you. A company had issued 20,000 13% debentures of 100 each on 1st April 2021. The debentures are due for redemption. The terms of the issue of debentures provided that they were redeemable at a premium of 5%. So the redemption value is 105. And also conferred an option to the debenture holders to convert 20% of their holding into equity shares at a price of 15 per share. So this is relevant. Face value is given 10. That is not relevant. The value at which it is going to be converted, 15, that is relevant. Debenture holders holding 2,500 debentures did not exercise the option. So 20,000 only, 2,500 did not exercise the option. So how many have exercised the option? 20,000 minus 2,500. 17,500 have agreed for the conversion. Calculate the number of equity shares to be allotted to the debenture holders exercising the option to the maximum. Very simple. 17,500 debentures idu redemption value calculate madudu into 20% madudu ಎಷ್ಟು equity shares ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ calculate ಮಾಡುದು. Done. Then redemption value into 80% cash ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡುದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Can you do it? Okay, let's calculate. I've got answers. If anyone else has also calculated, let me know the answers. So 20,000 only 17,500. Number of debentures opting for the option is okay. 17,500 units debentures. Redemption value of 17,500 debentures is how much? 17,500 into 105. You understood how I got 17,500? No, 20,000 minus 2,500. 1837,500. Is this correct? RV of converted equity shares. Equity shares ಗೆ ನಾನು 20% convert ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. That is 3,67,500, right? Therefore, number of equity shares will be ಒಂದು equity share ಗೆ value ಎಷ್ಟುಂಟು? Not face value. Agreed value ಎಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ದು 15 rupees, no? So 24,500 equity shares ನಾನು issue ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Done. Cash ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು? How much should we pay in cash? 18,37,500 into 80%. 20% ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಉಳಿದದ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡುದು. 14,70,000. Done. Have you all understood this? Is this clear? Simple, no? If it comes to 5 marks, you should be able to quickly answer it. Practice a little bit, you'll be fine. Okay, one final question from issue of redemption of debentures Madhva Navika. It has bonus issue, it has whatnot. We will go through the question and see. The balance sheet of B Company Limited, unlisted. This is illustration 4 from the ICAI material. Is everyone with me? Can I start doing the question? Can I get information in the chat box? Shall we start with illustration 4? Okay. The balance sheet of B Company Limited, unlisted company other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC, and HFC, as at 31st March 2021, is as under. So they have given the whole balance sheet of this company. So let's see what is there in the balance sheet. Equities and liabilities, shareholders' funds, there's share capital, there's reserves and surplus, non-current liabilities, there's long-term borrowings, 1,20,000 notes put together. We'll go through the notes to accounts also. So share capital only, we have authorized capital, issued and subscribed capital is 2 lakhs. Reserves and surplus is 1,20,000, which is P&L account, fully P&L only. Long-term borrowings, debentures, 12% debentures on to 1,20,000. Current liabilities, trade payables, non-current assets, property, plant and equipment, freehold property 1,15,000. Then we have current assets, inventory, stock, trade receivables, cash and bank balances 2,30,000. Cash at bank, cash in hand is given. At the annual general meeting, it was resolved to give the existing shareholders to option purchase one rupees 10 share at 15 for every 4 shares held prior to the bonus distribution. This option was taken up by all the shareholders. So now, what is this? to give existing shareholders the option to purchase 1 rupees 10 share at 15 for every 4 held. What do we call this as? We've already discussed this in unit number 4 of this chapter. This is a right issue. Existing shareholders again issue in a shares. This is known as a right issue. We're doing a right issue of shares to these guys in the ratio of 1 for every 4. The option is taken up by all the shareholders. So right now, how many shareholders do we have? We have 20,000 shares. So 20,000 into 1 by 4. Authorized capital nodudalla, issued capital nodudu. So 20,000 into 1 by 4. 5,000 right shares issue ಮಾಡಬೇಕು 15 rupees per share ಗೆ. To issue one bonus share for every 5 shares held. So this is after right issue. So right issue ಕೂಡ considered ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ bonus shares ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. This also we discussed in unit 4. Then to repay the debentures at a premium of 3%. This is redemption of debentures. We will have to do it. Now, we can just do it as per the sequence. Redemption, we can do the right issue and the bonus issue. But just I'm curious. Let's see if the DRR is there. Yeah, because the debentures are due for redemption. DRR investments DRR. So go through the question. Debentures is still the total 1,20,000. 1,20,000 debentures unto. So DRR is 2% how much should be the percentage of the DRR? 10%. So 12,000 into DRR unta nodi. Reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus note nodi illa. Madlilla. So we will have to create the DRR. And DRR investment. DRR investment is 2% 15% DRR investment. So see if DRR investment is there at 15%. I don't see any investments at all. So DRR investment could I illa 15%, 1,20,000 into 15%. 18,000. ಅದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಸೊ ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ರುಟೀನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಸೊ ಗಿವ್ ದ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ I will first take care of the right issue, bonus issue, then we'll go to the debentures routine entries. Let's start with the right issue first. Okay. Draw the journal entry format. Journal entries in the books of B Company Limited. Okay, first let's do the right issue. Right issue is nothing but a normal issue only. Okay, there's no special entry for right issue. So 15 rupees ಗೆ ನಾನು issue ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು shares issue ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ? They have said give existing shareholders to purchase one share for every four held. So the ratio is 1:4. Totally we have how many equity shares we had said? 20,000. So 20,000 into 1/4. 5,000 shares I am issuing. Bank account debit. So 5,000 equity shares I am issuing. How did I get this 5,000? 20,000 equity shares into 1/4. What is the issue price? Issue price is 15. Face value is 10. So 15. 5 rupees premium is there, remember. So rupees 15. 5,000 into 15. This is 75,000 rupees. To equity share capital, I'm directly passing one single entry. Equity share capital 5,000 into 10. This is the face value being transferred to the capital account 50,000. The securities premium will be credited to the securities premium account. Correct? No. 5,000 into rupees 5. Which is 25,000. Being right shares issued the ratio of 1:4 at rupees 15 per share. Okay, right issue. I just stay with the right issue. There's nothing to worry. Right issue that is a normal issue. ಈಗ ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. So they have said to issue one bonus share for every 5 shares held. ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು shares holding on to 20,000 shares were already there. 5,000 into right shares ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So 25,000 shares ಈಗ ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 25,000 into what is the proportion? 1/5. So 1/5. 5,000 bonus issue ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ? One share value is how much? What is the amount of bonus issue? This I hope you remember. We should do a working note for this. So 5,000 into 10. Face value is 10. So amount of bonus issue is 50,000. So 50,000 ಈಗ ನಂಗೆ profits ಬೇಕು, free reserves ಬೇಕು. Do you remember the sequence for bonus issue? Bonus issue ಗೆ sequence ಗೊತ್ತುಂಟಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ? So amount of bonus issue ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. Amount of bonus issue is number of bonus shares 25,000 into 1/5, 5,000 shares, value 5,000 into rupees 10. One share the face value is 10, so 50,000. ಇಷ್ಟು ನಂಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟು. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 63 ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು CRR ನೋಡುದು, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ನೋಡುದು, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು CR ನೋಡುದು, ಮತ್ತೆ GR, P&L, ಫ್ರೀ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ನೋಡುದು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಈಗ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ CRR ಉಂಟಾ? ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ನೋಟ್ಸ್. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ P&L ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರೋದು, CRR ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ SP ಉಂಟು, ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಈಗ SP ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಆಫ್ 25,000. So ಇದನ್ನು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನಾನು. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಆಫ್ 25,000. Is that clear? Securities premium account debit 25,000, then P&L account debit for the remaining 25,000. Have you all understood this? Have you all followed what I just did? $50,000 into reserves ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, CRR ಇಲ್ಲ, SP ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಈಗ. ಸಿಆರ್ ಅಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ ಉಂಟು, 1,20,000 ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ ಉಂಟು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಈಗ ನಾನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಉಳಿದದ್ದು ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ಗೆ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಹೊಡಿತೇನೆ. ಬೋನಸ್ ಟು ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ 50,000 being bonus issue in the ratio of 1:5 announced. Then do the bonus issue. Bonus to shareholders account debit to equity share capital. 50,000 being 5,000 bonus shares issued. ಆಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ರಾಮಾಯಣ. ಸೊ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಉಂಟು, ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುವ. ಟು repay the debentures at premium of 3%. ಅದರ ಮುಂಚೆ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಉಂಟಾ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಉಂಟಾ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಡಮ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆರಡೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಡೂ ದ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವ. ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಟು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್. So what is the value of the debentures? 1,20,000. ಅದರದ್ದು 10%. 12,000. Being DRR created at 10%. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? 15% ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೀಗ. ಸೊ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಡಿ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. So 1,20,000 into 15%. 18,000 investment. Specified securities ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಮೇನ್ ಅದು ಇರ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಾವೇ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು. 3% ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ 1,20,000 ಮೇಲೆ 3% ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. 12% ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್, 12% ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ನೋ 1,20,000 premium on redemption 1,20,000 ಮೇಲೆ 3%. Correct, no? 3,600 to debenture holders. $1,23,600 being redemption of debentures announced at a premium of 3%. Done. Now next we have to close the reserve. Reserve ಈಗ ನಾವೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಈಗ ವಾಪಸ್ P&L ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡೋದು. 12,000 ಇದು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅದಿನ್ನು ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ being DRR account closed. ಹಾಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ನು ಬೇಡ, ನಾವೇ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾರಿ ಬಿಡೋದು ಈಗ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಹಣ ಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾರಿ ಹಣ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ 18,000 ಹಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅಟ್ ಪಾರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ರೀಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು. ಸೊ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು? 1,23,600 ಅಷ್ಟು ರೀಪೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡುದು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ debenture holders redemption amount paid. Are you all understanding or am I doing it for myself? Are you all following? Easy, right? Simple. Yes. Last one the entry unto premium write-off. Premium untalla idralli. So P&L account debit to premium on redemption. 5 entries pass ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ remember the 5 entries being premium on redemption written off. Done. It's done. This is all we have to do. This much we have to do. All this we have to do. This is all we have to do. All this we have to do. It's easy. Just you have to understand the sequence and you have to practice a little bit. There is nothing technically difficult ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Just the entries ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೇಕು. See ಎಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Entries ಬಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. Just understand what and all we are supposed to do. Redemption ಆಗುವಾಗ ಎಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಎಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. Otherwise it's a very easy chapter. Lots of things to be done. That's all. First ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ DRR ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರುಟೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದು P&L ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದು ಡ್ಯೂ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಇದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಡ್ಯೂ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ದ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, DRR ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, DRR ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಂತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ 5 steps at the time of redemption. So I hope everyone has understood all of these steps. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಉಂಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ICI material ಅಲ್ಲಿ which is similar. So I'll just discuss it overview only now note. Let's see if you can try that question. This is question 3 from the ICA textbook. Practice question 3. Practice question 3 note important question. Interesting. Bandre exam again 10 marks, 15 marks range in the easy question. I thought nothing to worry. Just lengthy but question easy. So Case Limited, unlisted company other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC and HFC provides the following information as of 31st March 2022. Shareholder fund ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ for authorized share capital first ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Then issued and share capital 33 lakhs ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. This is what is relevant for me. Reserves and surplus, profit and loss unto 1,62,000. Then there is debenture redemption reserve. Very good. Our debenture redemption reserve kuda madidare. It is at 18,000. Let's see if it's enough. Non-current liability debentures 1,80,000. So 1,80,000 into 10%. DRR is enough. So we don't have to create any DRR. Our madide sakagtade. Trade payables 170 to 500. Non-current investment DRR investment. Idu avare madidare. So matte naan madbekanta illa. Let's see if it is enough. 1,80,000 into 15% investment. Allah 27,000 unto saku. Now madbekanta illa. Inventories unto trade receivables, cash in bank, cash in hand unto. At the annual general meeting, to give existing shareholders the option to purchase 1 rupees 10 share at 15 for every 4 shares. This is right issue. This was before the bonus distribution. Bonus share right issue madadu. This option was taken up by all the shareholders. Every shareholder, the option that is similar to the previous one. You have to calculate how many equity shares are issued. So 30,000 into 1 divided by 4. 7,500 right shares issue madidave. Right, 1:4. Yeah, 7,500 right shares, 15 rupees ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಂಗೆ 5 rupee premium collect ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು 37,500 premium collect ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. To issue 1 bonus share for every 5 shares held. So shares held ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ bonus shares ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 30,000 plus 7,500. ಈಗ ನಾನು right issue ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು 7,500 ಅಲ್ಲ. So total 37,500. ಇವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು 1:5 ರೇಷಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 7,500 bonus shares issue ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ into 10 rupees. Value of bonus is 75,000. So 75,000 ನಾನು CRR ಉಂಟಾ question ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Is there CRR? No. DRR ಉಂಟು. DRR ಮುಟ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ bonus issue ಗೆ. So 75,000 ಅನ್ನು ನಾನೀಗ 37,500 ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ security premium collect ಮಾಡಿದುಂಟಲ್ಲ 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. Security premium, right issue only. So 5 rupees into 7,500. So 37,500 adu use ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಉಳಿದದ್ದು 37,500 P&L account ಗೆ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾರೆ. Bonus issue only. Are you all understanding? Are you all listening? Are you all following what I'm saying? So bonus issue ಮಾಡುವಾಗ 37,500 security premium ನಾನು ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಹೊಡಿತದೆ, which I just collected. And the other 37,500 I will be debiting to the P&L account. So total 75,000 bonus issue we get break. Then to repay the debentures at a premium of 3%. Very simple. DRR entry illa, DRR investment entry illa. I mean, create madu entry illa. Just redemption entries, due entry for redemption. Then you have to sell the before that you have to close the DRR. You have to sell the investment. Then you have to pay the debenture holders. Then you have to close the premium account. Ashtu madidre aitu. Just 5 redemption related entries pass madidre aitu. I hope I'm very clear. So creating DRR illa, DRR already created onto DRR investment ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಅದಿದ್ದದನ್ನ ಮಾರಿ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. So that is for redemption ಮಾಡ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ ನಾವು regular ಆಗಿ ಅದೇ ಮಾಡುದು. So this many entries have to pass. 1 entry for right issue, 2 entries for bonus issue, 3 entries ಆಯ್ತು, 5 entries for redemption. Total 8 entries in the question. Can you do it on your own? Can you try this question on your own? Yes or no? I've told you what are the 8 entries also similar to the previous question, easier than the previous question. Yes. All right, so we will. I'll stop over here. I'll start with the new chapter in tomorrow's class. We finished full company accounts, whatever additional syllabus was added, we have done through these lectures. 3 units were added. All the 3 units I have discussed. 95% of the ICI questions also done uh, in the classroom itself. So illustration questions, practice questions, illustration 100% illustration questions done. We finished all the illustration questions from all the 3 units throughout these lectures. Bonus issue, right issue, issue of redemption of preference shares, and redemption of debentures. 100% of the illustration questions we've done. We've done some practice questions as well. Some questions have given you as homework. So that is the end of company accounts. Practice all of this properly from the exam point of view. Company accounts munche 15 marks ke barta to minimum. Some sometimes it's also come for 25 marks in the old foundation. 20 to 25 marks ke kuda bandida. But for your attempt now, on an average, it used to come for 15 to 20 marks. Your attempt is going to be quarter of the paper is going to be company accounts easily. Minimum 20 to 25 marks ತನಕ company accounts ಇದು ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಈ 6 ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ 3 ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು has special weightage and it is easy. It's actually easier than the second unit. Issue of shares ಗಿಂತ ಇದು easy ಉಂಟು. You just have to concentrate, set, uh, and do it. So a bonus issue, right issue ಗೆ ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಆ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 63 ಎಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬೋನಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದು ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎರಡು ಇಲಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪೇಡ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಉಂಟು. So I mean that you have to see. Then you have redemption of preference shares. It is a easy chapter, redemption of preference shares. And then you have redemption of debentures. So redemption of preferences is section 55 and conditions for veto. Probably out of the 3 units, redemption of preferences is a little tricky, but it is doable. It's not that difficult. And redemption of debentures is probably the easiest because you just have to remember the 12 entries I told you, 3 plus 4 plus 5. So you just have to know the percentages, 10%, 15%, and then you have to do it. One extra kind of question is that conversion related questions which I did in between the class today. So that is important. So apart from that, it is very simple. Don't miss out on the additional 10, 15 marks, whatever comes with this chapter. Right? I will stop over here. See you tomorrow uh, with a new chapter. We will be starting a new chapter in tomorrow's session. Now, 2 lengthy chapters are left. So please be there. We will discuss those 2 chapters in the coming classes. Dissolution of partnership firm. And we have one more financial statements from incomplete records or single entry system. So we will discuss that in the coming lectures. Thank you. Have a good evening, guys.